My name is Brian Williams. I've been in the clothing industry for about 15 years. I've worked at Kmart, JCPenney, and now I'm currently at Kohl's. 1988, I went to the prom. No, that's not me, but I did wear something along that lines. I remember going to the tuxedo place and trying on tuxes. Not a very good experience. I had to take the tux back 3 or 4 times to get the right fit. In order for a business to move forward, they have to keep up with the current trends and what's happening. An organization must review its history and ID its challenges. One of the challenges that the men's area was facing, they didn't have anything that was personalized for just men. Everything was geared towards the women. A company has to go through and review what's happening in the industry and their company, look at their history, ID some of the challenges that they're facing to try to move forward and be current. Once you have gone through the alternatives, select a solution and go on from there and review them. Men's Wearhouse started in 1973 by Mr. George Zimmer. He saw a need to personalize the experience for men. He started by selling slacks and sport coats out of his trunk. He started in Houston, worked up to about 12 stores, and started doing very well. 1975, he had his first commercial. 1980s was a good decade for him. He was able to see expansion and move to the West Coast. San Francisco was the first location. He updated his commercial and came up with the tagline, "I guarantee it." Most of you have seen those commercials and have seen Mr. George Zimmer. In the 1990s, more expansion. He moved from San Francisco to LA and also New York. So now he had the East Coast and the West Coast and still had stores in Houston. He expanded a couple stores in Houston, so he's up to 15 at this point. He still hadn't hit Dallas. That's happening in 2000. Also in the 90s, he purchased a Canadian company, expanded even further, moving north. He also added the tagline, "You're going to like the way that you look." Enter the 2000s. Mr. Zimmer decides to expand his tuxedos and regular clothing line and go into dry cleaning and alterations. He purchased K&G and Touch Hill, 2 underperforming companies. By this point, he's reached 1,200 stores, doing quite well. He's already reached Canada, New York, LA, and plenty of stores in Texas. At this point, there's another clothing fashion line, Joseph Abode, not doing very well. Mr. Zimmer partnered with this gentleman, and now Joseph Abode is being sold in Men's Wearhouse. Jose Bank is another underperforming company, the fashion line. That started a situation between the two companies. But the counter, Jose Bank tried to purchase Men's Wearhouse, and that started a battle back and forth. This purchasing battle is known as the Pac-Man defense. Joseph Abode, Jose Bank tried to stop Men's Wearhouse from purchasing them. Men's Wearhouse was able to counter, and eventually was able to purchase Jose Bank. But what was happening with the amount of stores that Jose Bank had, stock prices started to fall, and sales also started to decline. Mr. Zimmer was having conflict of interest with the board of directors for Men's Wearhouse. Men's Wearhouse was seeing them going one direction, and Mr. Zimmer was saying, "Hey, we didn't need to make this purchase. This market's going to be saturated. We need to figure out how we can reel this back and slow things down a little bit. We have a good thing going." That continued for a little bit. Board of directors decides to let Mr. Zimmer go. Men's Wearhouse now has to find a way to appease their shareholders and figure out how to continue to make sales improve. As I mentioned earlier, a company has to be able to review its history and look at its past, figure out what was making them successful, look at alternatives to how to correct the situation with the shareholders and this declining sales to make them move forward. One of the alternatives, hey, we can do nothing and just hope that everything kind of plays out okay and the market turns around. But as we know, this doesn't always work. Second alternative makes a little more sense. Close some stores and merge with a couple other stores, the underperforming stores in certain areas, merge those two together to have one store as opposed to two stores. Another alternative, Jose Bank used to have big offers. They used to offer 3-to-1. Some of you may remember some of those commercials. Well, Mr. Zimmer didn't like that because that was undermining the value of Jose Bank. They were a good fashion retailer, and it was bringing the value down, and it wasn't. They were looking as being a cheaper suit. That's not what Mr. Zimmer wanted. He believed that Jose Bank had a better line than that and wanted to keep that company going ahead. Same thing with Joseph Abode. Fourth alternative, they can improve their social media content and their online presence. As we know, 2000s, online, Facebook, social media has become prevalent, making companies move forward. Amazon, for instance, has done a really good job at having their click to buy feature. Anytime you click on something or you browse something, notice those banner ads that come up. They always say, hey, you just looked at a light bulb. Do you want to buy 5 more of those? And everywhere you go, you see those things pop up. That could be something that Men's Wearhouse could do along that lines. Maybe not so in your face, but that's another alternative they could use. What I would plan to do is use that fourth alternative and improve our online presence. Currently, the website that Men's Wearhouse is lacking. It's basically just has a few pictures, allows customers to browse what they have, and then they can go to a store and make those purchases. What I would like to do, get a Facebook app, because they don't have one. That reaches several customers, and that'll allow customers to review their products, and then the company can review what's happening that way. Proposed timeline. Start with the website update, getting customer feedback, and then doing a Google space. Anytime you go on the Google space, and they're going to have those features that Men's Wearhouse can quickly be achieved when somebody goes online and they look for a suit. They want Men's Wearhouse to be one of those businesses that come up first thing, not have to scroll through it. They could have surveys, they can implement some surveys to get the customer feedback to find out what they think about how the company is moving forward and what the customers believe they should do in their stores. Next, they can have a blog. Blog and a newsletter can showcase some of the experience and some of the expertise that they have in the men's industry. And then a lot of the men at that point, and women, because women could be getting on there to make it easy for women to go purchase something for their husbands or their boyfriends. It shows them what's happening with the trends and allows them to be able to pick the proper attire for their significant other. Next, they can start working on the product reviews. At this point, they've been around a little bit, a couple weeks. Start looking at product reviews and see what people think of the clothing lines. This worked big for the Joseph Abode. Joseph Abode had big reviews, and they were doing quite well. At that point, they can start having some videos. Getting some videos on there showing customers how to wear these things, how to wear the suits, jackets, what the fit is supposed to be, and possibly even having some fashion runway type stuff. Networking events, that's another good thing. They can move on to runway shows, getting their name out there further, having events for the public to show up and see what they're all about. Going to random Men's Wearhouse stores and having administration there and having try-on for certain suits and then showing them how to wear these things. So that could be another thing that they can add to that online experience. Once they've looked for it online, they can go to the store and get some of that same stuff. Also start providing rebates. We start rewarding those customers that frequently shop online. By doing this, they bring up a good customer value base and they get those same customers. They say, hey, I've been there for X number of years. I'm getting this now, I'm getting my shopper points. They can start getting their friends. Offering rewards if they get so many friends to come in. Continuous site improvements. Been doing it about 6 months. The site improvements But from the feedback you're receiving from the customers, start looking at that and figuring out ways we can improve our website, what we need to do, how we can better assist that customer for that good online experience. At the end of the year, we can start with collect ourselves an ebook, that electronic book for customers. It assesses the money for the year, and we can look at our plan, how we've done for the year, and what we want to do and how we want to move forward. That's important. So we've gone a whole year, we assess it, what's worked, what hasn't worked, make alternatives, and make a new marketing plan, just like we did for this present year. And we keep doing that, and if we do that every year, we can make Men's Wearhouse a successful company. The proposal is to improve the customer experience online and to give you a better picture of the future. Thank you.